So hi Bruce, thank you so much for joining me today and being a part of Banned Book Club. My first question is, what do you kind of think of censorship? Is it getting better or worse? A lot of people kind of see online cancellation as the new book burning. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely have seen a trend in censorship increasing. I mean, particularly online. I mean, I don't know whether or not it's the case so much in the printing industry and the publishing industry. Certainly some of that is occurring. You know, I've read about cases where people in publishing companies, have protested content of books. So they've literally kind of pressured their employers to either not publish a book or to request authors to change what's in the book. But the main thrust seems to be in the digital publishing world, where we're seeing, of course, social media platforms are censoring on an unprecedented and Orwellian scale. But also some of the news media as well, it seems to be gaining fear of certain topics, so there's some control of the way they will present stories. And so I do think, we're on an arc towards a worrying kind of change in the way that information is allowed to be shared, and what you can access and what you can even think about. So it's definitely concerning.
Definitely. Do you think that there is any kind of speech or writing that should be censored? I know a lot of people go to the classic one of like, well, there should be age restrictions on things. I more kind of mean opinions, free thought. Is there anything that you kind of think maybe we could pull back on that, maybe it should be censored, or do you believe in kind of this free arena?
Yeah, I mean, I think again, having some restrictions on age content makes some sense. Obviously, I guess there are sensitive topics where I don't think they should be banned, and also around topics around, I guess, sexuality and stuff, that maybe limiting the way in which those are presented to children makes sense. Should we be able to hear about the opinions of Nazi thinkers? I think we should, and I think that it also allows you to counter their opinions, because one of the great dangers in sort of problematic ideologies is if you drive them underground, there's nobody to counter them. And there's a number of people that come out of sort of cult settings who've said the only reason they were freed from their cult is because there was some sort of clash either online or in public where better informed minds came in and convinced them that what they believed was wrong and was harmful, and that freed them from that. Now, if those people had been driven underground, how would that happen? It wouldn't. So I think we have to be very careful with the idea of just banning a topic and making those people sort of hide away and become radicalized in their thinking. It's much better to have it in the open and let people communicate, disagree, and perhaps progress away from problematic ideas.
Absolutely, and that kind of radicalisation does happen when it's kind of banned and condemned to the shadows, because people feel kind of unheard in that. So obviously the name of the series is called Banned Book Club. It's looking not just at banned text but also controversial text. What was the last controversial thing that you've read or come across that kind of interested you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking a bit at the topic of transsexual topics, around this idea that, particularly that children are capable of deciding that they're in the wrong body, and there's this movement towards accepting a child's word for it, that, that they realise that they're not who they thought they were, and that, they need their body changed to meet who they psychologically feel they are. Now, I find that a really interesting sort of problematic and interesting concept, because, we would never accept that if I came to you and I said, if you were a doctor or a psychologist, and I said to you that, I'm absolutely convinced I'm a dolphin, right? Another mammal, intelligent mammal. I feel that I'm actually a dolphin, and I would like your help to change to a more of a dolphin lifestyle and possibly to transition into a dolphin body. I mean, I imagine your reaction would be first of all, shock, probably laughter, to some degree, but there would be a bit, you certainly probably wouldn't want to help me do that. I think the natural feeling in most people would be that this is a person who really could do with a little bit of extra conversation, counselling, maybe to talk through what's happening there, and to hopefully make them feel at ease in who they are now, rather than enabling what is a problematic belief that is almost certainly going to take them into a really difficult life experience, and on top of that, horrendous operation, right, to then attempt to live in the sea as one of the dolphins. Right. Now, I can say that as a joking thing, but this is kind of very similar to what we're saying. We can say that, that whatever you believe you are, that's where you should go. And that, that the infrastructure of society should help you become that, will enable you to physically change your body and to help you live in that new sort of, way. And I just can't see that makes any sense to me. That the first point would be to talk through to a person, why aren't you comfortable in who you are? What's happened that's made you uncomfortable there, and to see if you can find a way for them to be happy in who they are. Because otherwise, again, this is to do a very physical, materialist paradigm that I am this, my body, that's all I am. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think much more I am the greater, this energy field, the cognitive processes, all this other stuff that's going on, and the millions of bacteria and what they want, and the virus, all this stuff that make us up. So I think it's a very strange view that we would go that anyone would leap straight to this child has said that they want to be no longer a boy, they want to be a girl, so we're just going to give them these hormone blockers, and then we're going to arrange operations and change their body. It just seems, to me, really a bizarre leap that our culture is heading to that.
And my last question for you is, what is your favourite book, or do you even have a favourite book?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of favourite books, but I think the one that's been, in some ways, I suppose, the most influential has to be Altringa, When the First Ancestors Were Created, because, of course, I mean, that's the book that led to my research project and to Exogensis. So if I hadn't encountered that, my life would be quite different. I wouldn't have been spending the last 5 years or so looking into human origins, into the potential of aliens, modifying us. I mean, because that is the account from the experiencers who encountered this Altringa artifact and had this event where they received this information about our origins. So, I mean, this was essentially the source for my work, which allowed me then to go and look for any validating evidence that this was, real events. So I'd say it's probably been the most influential on my journey, definitely.